Hi, I'm Callum from Time Valley Motorhomes, and today I'll be showing you around the brand new 2021 model from Autotrail, which is the Tracker EKS. So coming down the driver's side of the vehicle, first point you get to is your waste release valve. So you can pull this forward and it will drain off any waste water that you've collected. This could be anything you've drained down the sink, as well as your showering, your dishes and your hand basin water. You'd normally drive over a grid on the way out of your site, pull your lever and drain it off. Next you've got your mains connectivity point, so you'll get your mains hookup lead, lift the collar and slide it on like so. Always hook your vehicle up first, then your point, and obviously do it in reverse when unhooking the vehicle, as you wouldn't want you to walk around with a live lead. Your two fridge vent covers, and then next to it, so your toilet's behind here. This is your toilet cassette, which opens with all your lockers do open with the round headed key there. And then to get this cassette out, you've got to make sure that the blade on the bottom bowl of the toilet is closed. Take it out, unscrew this cap here, then you can press the button, tip out. Once you've tipped it out, the grey cap that goes on the end of here is your measurement gauge for your chemical. You'd fill that, pour it in here, then tighten, and then pump up into the vehicle. You can rinse the cassette after you've emptied it as well, and then when you are using it, if you use Fetford toilet paper, as it breaks down with the chemical, otherwise your household stuff will swell and you won't be able to empty the cassette. This is your external shower point, so it's a cold water feed, and it is just like a hose pipe connection, and the push is on there. And then on the other end of the gun you do have a trigger gun, so on the pipe, and you can hose the dogs, the goose, the kids, the bikes off. And then underneath, same as your waste valve, this is your fresh water drain. So you pull it open and this will drain off your fresh water. So any water you've taken on that could be contaminated, or could be winterizing, or just not using the vehicle, drain the van completely down. Coming around the back of the vehicle, you've got your high level brake light and built-in reverse camera at the top. Then you've got your fuel bike rack bars, so there's one here and one just either side of the number plate there for your bike rack, should you get one fitted. And then on the passenger side at the rear, you've got your external gas point. So this is, instead of carrying a separate bottle for your barbecue paddock, you can use the gas spigot there, which is tied to it. In here, get some gas hose and connect it from the motorhome to your barbecue or your paddock, and then turn the tap on to get the gas. Next to it you do have a small key on your set of keys, which is your fresh water filler. Slide this up like so, and then you put a hose pipe in there until it overflowed, or until you're happy you've got enough water on board, which you can see on the control panel above the fridge how much water you've got in the vehicle. Moving further down, you've got your true vent cover, so please make sure this is obstruction free at all times, so it allows the fumes from the boiler out. And you've got your awning light. In here you've got your LPG, so this is liquid petroleum gas. This is your gas locker. It opens with the round headed key again. So to open these locks, what you need to do is turn to half a turn and the lock will pop out, and then obviously half a turn and tap to close them. And then in here you can fit 2 gas bottles, the 2 6s. Obviously make sure it's strapped in when you've got it in the vehicle. To connect the pigtail to the bottle, it's a left hand thread. Your hand tightens, and then you will have to use a gas spanner or an adjustable wrench to connect the bottle. Turn on the bottle, and then you've got a little black button here. If you just push that, it allows the gas through the crash valve and into the vehicle. And obviously make sure that the bottle is turned off before you start driving. It's more safer to be on the road with the gas turned off. At the passenger door there you have got a lockable diesel cap, which works with the main ignition key. And below you've got your AdBlue. Because it's a Euro 6 compliant engine, it's got the AdBlue solution. So between the temperature and the fuel gauge, when the light comes on, which looks like an exhaust light, it's telling you it needs AdBlue, which is normally between 5 to 6,000 miles, and it's a 20-litre tank. Here on the slam panel are your tyre pressures, which are 5.5 bar front and rear, which is 79.5 psi. Underneath the floor, this compartment is where your engine battery lives, and underneath the seat is a jackknip brace and a tone eye, which is your toolkit. And on the side of the dashboard is your bonnet release. Now underneath the bonnet, so first of all you've got your weight plate, which will go off. So this vehicle is 3.5 tonne. If you were to put a tow bar on, you can tow a train weight of 4,750. You've got your paint code this side for the metallic black, the Nero black. You've got your various fluids, so you've got your brake fluid, your coolant, your power steering fluid, which this cover lifts off to fill those two, and the main one you're going to need, which is your screen wash, which is in the corner. Then you do have your oil and your oil dipstick, and should you ever need to jump start the vehicle, you'd put your negative onto there, which is your air. And if you just put your key in here and lift this cover up ever so slightly, you'd put your positive onto there. So above the fridge, you've got your two control panels. So you've got your main 12-volt control panel for the motorhome, and you've got your heating and hot water. So first of all, I shall start with the control panel. So you turn on and off here, which is a main master switch. If you are hooked up, you have got a symbol there, which means you've got mains 240 volt on board. If not, you would just have 12 volt. And across from it is your master switch for all your lights, which then are all individually switched around the van. You've got your pump, so turn your pump on to use your exterior shower. That's just giving a low water level there. So if you turn your pump on to use your exterior shower, interior shower, toilet and all your taps within the vehicle. Awning light. Then you've got your dimmer lights, which are just underneath your lounge, so you can set and dim them, which are underneath. And then you do have your water levels, and then you've got your battery levels. So as you can see, you've got your leisure, your vehicle, your active battery, which is always wants to be a leisure battery, your mains current and your solar panel. Obviously with your solar panel, it does go to sleep when the mains current is on, as it's bringing a bigger voltage into the vehicle. If you go back to home, you can then go to settings, and then you always want your active battery to be leisure. Don't put the smart on because it will monitor both batteries and switch over accordingly. And your active battery runs the motorhome, so you don't want that to go off your vehicle battery. Your solar battery is on vehicle, so this is where you want this charge from the solar to go, but it is also on smart, so it will monitor both batteries and then switch over. And you do have your tank heaters here, so you can turn your tank heaters on if it's going to be a cold frosty night. Moving further along, you've got your dimmer for your lounge lights for the dimming setting, and then you've got your screen timeout, so how bright the panel is and when it times out if it hasn't been touched. And then you've got your date and time settings, and then this is just your temperature for your heating and hot water, which you can use through here, so we'll go through this first. So to work your Truma control panel, to turn it on you just press and hold the wheel, and then to get into the menu you just press enter, and this is your various settings. So as you can see, you've got a motorhome with a thermometer in, so you've got your highest temperature at 30 degrees, or you can turn it all the way down to off. For this we'll just say 30 degrees, press enter. Then moving further along, you've got your water. So should you have sufficient water on board, you can have it on eco, which is about 40 degrees, hot, which is 60 degrees if heating your water, or boost, which turns off your heating and prioritises your hot water. So for this we'll just say eco. And moving along again, you've got which source. So it starts off with gas, so if you're wild camping and you're not hooked up, you would have to heat the motorhome and the water off gas. You've got a mixture one, which is 1 kilowatt of electric and gas together. We've got mixture 2, which is 2 kilowatts of electric and gas, which you'd normally use in the winter should you need to heat the motorhome up quicker, or the water. Obviously both sources reduce your heating time. And then you've got electric on 1 kilowatt, which you'd normally use on smaller CL sites abroad. We've got electric on 2, which you can use on most motorhome and camping sites throughout the UK, depending on which power output they give you. So for this we'll just say electric 2. Moving further along, you've got your fan speed, so you can have it on eco, high. So if you were wild camping, you'd use eco because it's a smaller feed from the 12 volt, or you can have it on high if you want to blow the heat around the vehicle. Moving down to the bottom, you've got a timer here, so you can set the timer. Then you've got the time displayed on the panel, and then in the corner you've got a setting so you can reset the boiler should you ever have a triangle, which is a warning. So that's how you'd reset it. And then to turn off, you just press and hold. So to work your Bedford fridge, obviously you turn on and off here, and then if you press the square button in the middle, you'll see it says A, which is automatic energy selection, and it's automatically gone to the power, which is the hookup. So A is automatic, so it knows what source it wants to be on. So should you have mains power on and you've got your gas open, it'll automatically go to mains power first. And then if you want to unhook the vehicle, it would go to gas. And then if you want to start the engine, it would go to the battery, which is a feed from the alternator designed to keep the temperature of the fridge the same. So it's basically like a cool box setting. If you did want to override, you can press and hold, wait until it starts flashing, and then there I can manually put it onto mains hookup. Or if you press again, you put it onto battery. Obviously it's failed, that's gone red because the engine isn't running, it's getting no power. Or you can press again and turn it to gas. Then you get the option of your temperature, so you can start off at 1 bar or 5 bar, so you can predict the temperature you want the fridge and freezer box to be at. And then you'll hear it clicking away in the background until it lights on gas. Once you have finished with the motorhome for the season, if you always clean your fridge out, get the remainder of your shopping out, and then if you just slightly pull this toggle out, it stops the door from closing on itself and forming an airtight seal, and it'll stop any mould growing in your fridge. Now in your kitchen area, so in here you do have your cups, bowls and plate rack, as well as your main isolation plug for your microwave, which your microwave only works on when you're hooked up to mains power, because it's just a household microwave. And then as you can see, you've got 3 gas burner rings. And then once you've primed the gas through, as it could take a little while like it just has if you haven't used the motorhome, and obviously this is brand new. And then this side you do have your electric hot plate. So you've got your 3 gas rings and your electric hot plate there on mains electric only. So it'll only work when you're hooked up. Below you do have your gas grill. And below that you've got your oven there. I would take the oven shelf and grill pan out when travelling or wrap it up, as this can be the main cause of the rattle when on the road. And below here you do have your gas isolation taps at the back, these grey taps, which is for the hob and the oven. These are mainly for when the vehicle is habitation serviced. And then you've got your plug here, which just plugs into this plug, and that is for your hot plate. And as you can see, there's your water pump at the back. You've got storage, you've got a big cutlery drawer, storage, drawers for your pots and pans, another big drawer, So your sink cover goes on the top of your sink to give you extra space when you're using the hob and cooking area. But then you do have this part as well. So now in your washroom, to operate your toilet, what you need to do is press and hold, which will flush the toilet. And then what you need to do is, once you flush the toilet, if you open the blade, use the toilet with the blade open, just so it lubricates the blade and it doesn't stick. And then flush the toilet after use, and then slide it back to the left to close the blade. The cassette blade must be closed to get the cassette out the side of the vehicle, otherwise you'll not get it out. And then you do have toiletry cabinet under here. Push your sink plug up and down, and then with your shower screen, if you always, when you're travelling, turn the turnbuckle there to keep it in, and you've got a hanging rail for your towels, which is also great if you've been caught in the rain. Hang your coats up in here because it's lovely and warm when the heating's on. You close the door, and then when you winterise the vehicle, if you do take your shower head off your shower hose, as you can see it's got a big loop in it at the bottom, and allow that to lie in the shower tray to stop any build-up of water, and leave all your mixer taps in the open position. To operate your extractor in your kitchen area, you can open the hatch above, then you press, and you've got 6 settings each way, so you can either bring air into the vehicle or take smells out when cooking out the vehicle. So 6 settings, and obviously once it stops, it'll start spinning the other way. And then you do have a blackout blind on there for running evening. So to operate your Avtex TV, which comes in your media centre here, what you need to do is, there's a slide button on the side here to turn it on and off. Then you can turn it on with the remote, and then if you just make sure it's on source Freeview TV. If you did have a satellite fitted to the vehicle, which is an option from the factory, it is a satellite ready TV, so you can have it on satellite, and you do have HDMI and AV for your other sources. And then if you just press AQT, this orange button here, press and hold it, and then what it'll do is it'll start doing an auto tune, and it'll find as many channels as it can in your area. So to operate the drop down bed, which has been opted as an extra on this vehicle, make sure the power's on and make sure the lights are on, and then you could turn the key, press and hold. Make sure you press and keep your finger held on the button, don't keep pressing, and it'll bring the vehicle, the bed down to the level. You do have nets on there which you can clip on up here to stop your children from falling out if they're up there. And then obviously this is just designed to keep the fabric in, and you just take that off when you put the bed down. When you put the bed back up, obviously make sure that you take your pillows off, don't have too thick of a duvet, and then you can just press and hold the button and the bed will go. So the max load for that bed is 200 kilograms. And then also in this locker here is where the relay is for the bed. So you've got 2 relays, and should the bed ever fail, there's a fuse here that has a little reset button on. So if you put the bed up and it fails and you can't get it back down, check this fuse, because a small nib will pop out. Just click it back in and then the bed should work. So on the all new Tracker EKS you get a larger wardrobe there, so it's a full length. Got a hanging rail, and this is the ladder for the bed which clips on here. And then below you have another hanging rail and a bit more of a wardrobe which has got your various hookup leads, extension pipe for the waist, your water pump and your carb mat in there. Across this side you do have your freestanding table, which will just slide out, and it's basically like putting an ironing board up. You slide the legs out. You can have this inside at the front, or if it's a nice day, you can take that outside, of course. And then in here you've got storage, and you've got slide out drawers. Above, to operate this roof light, what you need to do is pull your weight down on it, slide it along, and then when shutting it, you just slide and make sure the two tabs have gone into the ones on the roof light. Obviously make sure that's securely fastened before you start travelling, along with your windows. Then you do have a black outline and fire screen on there. So to make your L-shaped lounge into your travelling seats for when you're on the road, what you need to do is just remove this section here, take your cushions off, and then you have both passengers can get their feet down into the footwells. So to make your bed up at the bottom, obviously remove that slat, then your table sits on the edge here, and then you'd slide this out and the table would sit there. And what you need to do is lift and slide the seat out, pull the leg down, that'll slide so far across, like so. And then what you do is you use the backrest into here, which fills the space there, and then you would use the cushions from the seat, the L shape, use the backrest into there, this one into here. And then this would be how you made the bed up. Obviously backrest from there, base cushion and backrest from up here, and the same from in the corner. And that's your double bed made underneath your double bunk. So to turn your seats round into the rear, there's two levers on the side of the seats, which you slide open, and then should the seat get stuck on the back of the door, you just adjust the driving position and spin it round into the rear. So as the new EKS is super low, it has a new roof light. So what you need to do is open, it's like opening the windows, push it out, and then to keep it out, you just tighten the black wheels, which keeps the roof light open, and then you do have a black outlined and a fly screen. So now in the cab, to the right of the driver, you do have your handbrake, your electric windows and electric mirror adjustments, which you choose either the top or the bottom on each mirror, which the bottom's a blind spot mirror. And then if you use your finger and your thumb, you can pinch and slide the reverse carb lines down. Always let the front lead. And then you've got the same on the windscreen, so you slide that across and do the same on the other side. And then they are just on a magnetic, so they are a magnetic catch which just clip together. If it's going to be a windy night, I'd suggest putting something around it like a hairband or a bobble, just to stop them pinging open. And then they just store away like so, and you've got the same on the passenger window as the driver. And then down here you've got your headlight adjustment and your rear fogs. You've got your wipers with your trip computer on the end, which will tell you your range, your travelling times, your distance travelled, your instant and average consumption. Then you've got your lights and your indicators. And just here you've got your cruise control at the top, off, and speed limiter. Should you have to brake and turn off your cruise control, you can just press cancel resume on the end and it'll resume it to the speed it was set at. On the steering wheel you've got your hands free. This will scan through your radio channels and your contacts and your media, volume and mute. 6-speed manual gearbox with lifter collar into reverse, which will then bring on your rear view camera. So as you can see, it's powering up, and there is your rear view camera on your accent head unit. traction control, this turns it off. Hill descent control, forget about it because it's a manual, this is more for automatics. Hazards, this locks the 3 doors, so passenger, driver and the rear habitation door. Heated mirrors, a USB for charging purposes and a 12 volt. And then on this side you've got your glove box, and then here you've got your top glove box, which is heated and cooled by the air conditioning, and you do have 2 USBs for your media and phone for the head unit. You've also got your folding, so if you can pull the clipboard up, you've got a clipboard, or you can pull that out and then lock that into place should you want to put a sat nav or a phone in there. And then on the Accent head unit itself, so you turn it on here and it'll start powering up like it is Accent. You've got navigation, so your navigation card goes in the top there. Once it reads the navigation cards there, it will set the navigation off. You've got your DAB radio, so you can scroll for your channels, or you can go to the list. And obviously you've got national, Tyne and Wear where we are, as we're in Newcastle, that's our local stations, national stations and BBC national stations. You can go to radio, which is FM and AM, should you be struggling to get a DAB signal where you are. Bluetooth, so you would just search for your device and it'll come up on here, and search on your phone as well and it'll come up Accent. And then this model is an F270 head unit. That's what you'd look for. Then it'll ask you if you want to pair, press pair, and it'll ask you if you want to sync your contacts, press sync. And then your navigation there has come on, so you would just press and wait for it to load. Once you've set it all up, and then if you go in, so you go to the 3 tabs in the bottom right corner, new route, then you can put an address in, or you can search for the nearest petrol station and so on. You will have USB, iPod and Android link when you connect through the USB in here, or you can go on the camera and you can have the camera on permanently when driving forward should you require, but you can skip through them down here as well, so home, nav, cam, DAB and alternative, which just goes between whatever you've been through last. And below the head unit you do have your temperature and fan speed, must be on at least 1 or more for the aircon to work. You've got your distribution, so where you want the air to go to, and you've got your circulation, either recirculating air or bringing fresh air in. This now brings us to the end of the handover on the brand new 2021 Tracker EKS from Autotrail, which is a super low profiled motorhome. Should you have any questions or you want to discuss further the Tracker EKS, feel free to contact Tyne Valley Motorhomes on 01207 272 777 or email us at sales@tynevalleymotorhomes.co.uk and one of our sales colleagues will be in touch. Thanks for watching the video.